Hello everyone. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to connect to an external identity provider to your Choreo organization. As the external identity provider, I'm going to use Asgardio by WSO2. By default, Choreo uses an inbuilt identity provider to manage both two clients and generate access tokens. Choreo supports token exchange grant type, and with that, Choreo also allows you to configure or add one or more identity providers. Therefore, we can obtain JWT from the identity provider to exchange for Choreo access token to invoke the APIs. This capability allows you to expose your APIs to users who resides in an external user stores. Asgardio by WSO2 is an identity as a service or IDaaS that helps developers to implement secure and frictionless access to their applications. Asgardio currently on beta stage, and anyone who's interested can have free hands-on experience. Even they are calling this as an early adopter release, you can see it's supporting most of the modern IAM features. You can learn more about Asgardio by going to the URL wso2.com/asgardio. I'll add the link in the description as well. In this video, I'm not going to cover Asgardio features. I'll try to cover those in the upcoming videos. And let me know if you guys need any specific scenarios to be covered related to this topic. In order to begin this tutorial, we need to create an account in Asgardio. So let's go ahead and create an account. As you can see, we are on asgardio.io sign up page. I am going to use the option to sign up with Google. So in here, I am going to sign up with my Gmail account. Okay, so right at the beginning, it's asking for the organization name. As you can see, it's validating whether the organization name is available at the tenant mode. If the name is not available, you may have to use a separate or different name. At the initial sign up, it will take some time to prepare the workspace. Let's wait a little bit, and it will redirect us to the Asgardio console. Now we are in the Asgardio console or the home page. In here, you may have a familiar interface because it's also aligned with the Choreo interface as well. In the top drop down, you have the same concept of the organization as Choreo as well as in the Asgardio. So right now we only have one organization which is we just created. So I'm going to develop an application in order to support our authentication. I'm going to create a new application. So in here, you have different options to select. I'm going to create a single page application in order to begin with our tutorial. I'm going to give the name as, let's say, sample app. For the authorized redirect URL, so since I don't have an app, I'm going to use the localhost 5000 as my redirect URL, and this authorization code will be sent upon to that URL. The application is created on the Asgardio side, Now I need a sample app to add my configurations. In order to do that, I am going to select React as my technology. I am going to try out the sample which is already available on the Asgardio. In order to run the React app, you need Node.js and npm installed on your environment. So make sure you do that. Then I am going to download this React sample. As you can see in the description, I need to configure the config.js file in that app by adding these configurations. It has this unique client ID. Let me add that configuration to the sample app which we have downloaded. So I am going to open the app and open the Asgardio React app /source and the config.json and copy these configuration content to the config.json. In the next step, run npm install npm start. Okay, and in order to log into the application, I need to create a user. I'm going to create a user now because I haven't created any user for the application in order to log in. So I'm going to use the same email address. We need to give a password. Okay, the user is created. Right. So I'm going to run this command on the application which I have downloaded and add the configurations. I'm going to open up a terminal. Let's run this application. You might be thinking that I have used the same email address which I used to sign up to the Asgardio to create the user as well. It's actually not related. I use that same email address because for this tutorial it's a bit convenient for me. You can use different email address for the particular users. Now the app is starting. It will take some time to start the app. Now the app is started. Let me try log into the app. This is the URL we have given as the redirect URL. Let's log into the application. So I'm going to give the user credentials which I was created on the Asgardio side. It's asking me for the permission to access my username. So I'm going to allow that. This sample application extracts the response that the developers know how the identity information is being passed to the application. So as you can see in here, it's showing me the session state, the username, and the ID token data, which is also decoded data, and on the left side the encoded data, encoded token which we are going to use later on. It has all the identity related information which the app needed. In order to configure the identity provider on the Choreo side, we need to go to the settings, API management. As you can see, we don't have any providers configured. So I'm going to add the provider. Here you can see different identity providers. And I'm going to select Asgardio. I'm going to give a name to my identity provider. Let's say Asgardio IDP. Doesn't allow spaces. For the well-known URL, as you can see, we need to give the discovery endpoint URL. So I'm going to go to the Asgardio. I'm going to open the app which we have created earlier. In that app, we need to go to the information section, and here you can see the server endpoints. What we need is the discovery endpoint to be added to the identity provider we are going to add on the Choreo site. So I'm going to copy that discovery endpoint and paste it to the IDP which we are going to create as the well-known URL. As you can see, it's automatically generating the other endpoints. We don't have to manually configure those. If you cross-check with the URLs on the Asgardio side and the Choreo side, those are identical. So we don't have to manually add those. Let's double check the endpoints. Okay, I'm going to add the identity provider now. Now identity provider is added to my organization. You can edit, read the information later. Now I'm going to create a service which I'm going to authenticate via the identity provider I just added. I hope you are already familiar with the service creation, deploying the service, and publishing the API. If you are not familiar with those stuff, you can go ahead and watch my previous videos. I'm just going to create a sample get method which return a sample payload. I forgot to mention you that now Choreo platform is in Ballerina Swan Lake Beta 3 stage, and you can try out all the samples related to Ballerina Beta 3. Some samples may not work on my previous videos, therefore you need to check for the documentation related to the Beta 3 of Ballerina, modified them accordingly. So there won't be any syntax changes going forward, so you won't face any problems on upcoming migrations related to Ballerina version. Okay, I have skipped the publishing part since you are already familiar with those stuff. So now, right now, I'm going to go to the developer portal and subscribe the API which we have just published. In order to subscribe the API, we need to create an application with the identity provider which we have created. So I'm going to the application and create application for the APIs to be subscribed. I'm going to name this application as, let's say, Asgardio IDP test app, and let's select unlimited token quota for the convenient purpose. Now we need to configure the OAuth2 tokens. First, you need to go to the advanced configurations and make sure the token exchange is selected and create generate credentials. As you can see, the consumer key and the consumer secret is already populated. So if you go to the advanced configurations, the expiry times are already defined. So we are going to keep those as it is, and we are going to the user keys and select Asgardio IDP. We only have the Asgardio IDP at the moment because we didn't configure anything else. In here, it's mentioned that the audience value should be this URL, that auth2/token URL. We need to copy that and add it to our sample app on the Asgardio site. I am going to the protocol tab on the sample app. In the very bottom stage, there's this audience value, which we need to paste the URL which we have copied and add. Then update the app. Now the app is updated on the Asgardio side and the URL is added. Let's go to the subscriptions. Let's add the API which we have created. This is the subscription we need to do. Now the API is subscribed to the application which we have created just now. Let's go to the OAuth2 tokens tab and check whether the token exchange is working correctly. In order to test the token exchange is working correctly, let's log out from this because the token might be expired. So I'm going to log into the sample app again. Let's copy the Asgardio token, paste it to the app we have created on the Choreo side to generate the test token. So I'm going to paste the Asgardio token here and generate the test token. The test token is generated and I'm going to copy it, paste the API. Let's paste the code here first. We don't need to copy that again. Let's get the URL for the API. Okay, this is the URL which we have deployed the API. Yes, so it's my payload. Yes, so as you can see, the payload is retrieved from the token which we have pasted here. Let's add some random value and test it. Okay, it's not working for the value. We can use the curl command to generate the token as well. In order to test this, I'm going to copy this curl command. Let's try it on the terminal. So this is the approach you need to follow in order to generate the token you need to authenticate the API. So let's invoke this one. Right, so the token is generated. Okay, let's try to authenticate the API with this token. So I'm going to copy this and paste it on the token. Right, as you can see, it's authenticated. When you look at the curl command, it shows the grant type as token exchange and the requested token type is JWT. And also it contains the base 64 encoded consumer key and consumer secret. When you copy the curl command, it will automatically add the consumer key and consumer secret to this copied curl command. That's why I use this in order to generate the token. Consumer key and the consumer secret cannot be exposed via the UI. So I'll explain those later. Let's go through what we have covered on this tutorial. So first we have created the API, published it. If you go to the settings on the organization, you can see the identity provider we have created. I think you have gained the knowledge of connecting identity provider to your Choreo organization doing the token exchange part. To get an idea of how the token exchange happened, you can visit the Choreo documentation and get the overall idea. I'll add this link to the description below, so you will have the clear idea of how the token exchange happened. If you like the content so far on this video, please put a thumbs up. And if you have any feedbacks or questions, please put a comment below. Also, a subscribe to the channel is really appreciated. Hope you have learned something new today. See you on the next video and have a nice day.